Okay guys, so this is going to be TTO Pro Team practice Thursday and Friday, tournament Saturday, Sunday this past weekend. I'm going to give you practice today. I'm going to give you first day of the tournament tomorrow, and then next Tuesday I'm going to give you second day of the tournament, then we'll go back to our map videos. So to lay it out for you, obviously fall fishing on Sam Rayburn, great grass, the lake's about 6 feet low, water temperature high 60s, low 70s, but we know a couple of things coming up. So we know Friday we've got a lot of rain coming. We know it's going to cool off a bunch. It's predicted Saturday morning to be in the 30s and have 20-25 mile an hour north winds with just a hint of west in them. And then pretty windy again on Sunday, but not nearly so much so. And we did have fog Sunday morning. It was anticipated to be pretty much bluebird, but we had some fogs and low clouds early. So we're practicing with the knowledge that the water's going to cool off and with the knowledge that we can only fish areas at least the first day where you're going to be able to fish the next day in a north wind. And not only fish, but get to. We're suspecting they're going to call trailering, which they do. So we immediately start out running to areas that we know we can fish in a north wind. So I'm going to start out the day practicing on a big flat adjacent to a creek. And kind of this time of year, my go-to bait is going to be a chatterbait. Normally the trap bite's not going to start until that water gets in the low 60s, mid 60s to low 60s. On my front deck, I've got a bunch of options, but I'm rotating through a white chatterbait, a green pumpkin chatterbait, and an orange chatterbait. And I gotta give credit here. I always wanted to throw an orange chatterbait, but I saw Randy Despino put a beating on the fish, I believe in an FLW tour event. Just saw it online with an orange chatterbait, and watching Randy catch those fish gave me the confidence to throw that bait. And what I'm experiencing out here is a lot of fish are slapping the bait. They'll literally knock slack in your line, but they're not getting it, and that's why I'm rotating through these three, trying to figure out which one they're eventually going to start eating. And you'll see right here, I think this is maybe 30 or 40 minutes into the day, and this is my fourth bite, but one finally gets a hold of it. Now, it's not a big fish, but again, I'm trying to find areas where I know I can fish. Well, I guess I would say where I know I'm going to be able to fish the next day, and also where there's some fish that might be moving up as that water cools off. Because at Rayburn, it's just like in the springtime when they move up. When that water cools off, those fish move up and really start feeding, and they really hadn't done it yet. Friday was a pretty good day. Saturday was a pretty good day. Thursday was a pretty good day. Friday was a pretty good day. And then Saturday, the light switch came on. So I'm rotating through those baits, and you see I've caught a little one there. I got a couple of more bites, and I think I'll catch another one here in just a second. So here, I think this is going to be the second or third or fourth fish I've caught, and this is pretty consistent. I'm getting a lot of slaps. They're not committing to it. I've picked up a trap a little bit. I'm so shallow at this point, I'm really not getting many trap bites. I threw a spinnerbait a little bit. They wouldn't eat it at all. I did not throw a swim bait. I normally don't start throwing that till way into the winter or into the early spring. And I'm just winding, trying to get those chatterbait bites and trying to get a little confidence of an area that I think those fish are going to move into come Saturday morning. And we're going to both practice deeper later in the day for Sunday. And I'll actually show you what that net's here in just a second. But, catching a few fish, nothing to get real excited about. But as I said with the pre-practice a few weeks ago, you're not looking to find a big group of fish right now because things are changing. You're looking to find places to fish. And maybe even I would say that, places to be confident to fish. By the way, so I'm done with GoPro media mods. This is the third or fourth time that I've had one die on me and I get no audio. So I'm real frustrated with them. We won't have this happen again. I threw the last one away, and I'm done with media mods. So now I've moved out now. I've continued working my way out because I'm thinking that there should be some fish starting to come up, and I'm in the mouth of a drain here, and this is the first quality fish, actually real quality fish, And I'm sorry I'm going to step out of frame here to land this fish, and I didn't get it on the back camera because the back camera is having problems, which I've now corrected on it as well. But you can see here, this is a 5-6 pound fish, and this is the first time I think, okay, if the weather really cools off and these fish start snapping, we could be dangerous going forward on this tournament. Especially if we can find a little something to go deep on Sunday. Because what we're trying to do is survive the big win Saturday to have a chance to win Sunday, which is, you know, they always say you can't win a tournament on the first day, but you can dang sure lose them. So we're trying to find somewhere. Our target weight was 15 pounds the first day. And again, you know, that's the kind of quality fish you want to catch. And so kind of established 3 areas we felt like we could catch these fish in. I then went across the lake to another spot, and it's the same kind of a thing. It's a main lake, but it's got a drain coming off of it, so it's kind of first place fish are going to move up. And when I pulled up, they were knocking bait around on this little point, and I saw one, it was over 5 pounds, come basically out of the water chasing the shad. So I pick up a buzz bait. Actually, I try to throw a walking bait up there, but the grass just isn't quite deep enough. Got hung up a couple times. Pick up a buzz bait, and just almost immediately this one smokes a buzz bait. So, you know, this is sort of spot number 2. This is a spot I know I'm not going to be able to fish Saturday, but again, I'm thinking about Sunday. I'm thinking about catching a limit early Sunday morning so we can get a little bit of confidence to go out deep. And, you know, this is, I don't know, 3rd or 4th cast with a buzz bait. And this fish right here just absolutely trashes. And again, guys, sorry I don't have great footage. I had all kind of camera issues on Friday. But, you know, this is probably only a 1.5 pound, 1.75 pound fish. But there were several of them there together, and I saw a good one. So I'm starting to get a little bit of confidence. And, you know, with the rain coming, and the weather change coming, you're just trying to find some fish to catch your limit and then be able to go deep on Sunday and try to catch a sack full. So that's what's going on there. Now I go out deep, and so Hawkins does something funny that I'd never had a partner do before, but he did it with his previous partner. And that is he sends pictures. He'll catch a fish, snap a picture, and you can see that's an 8XD dangling out of a 6'1". And of course, we then talk immediately afterwards, but that was a brush pile fish. And then, gosh, it's not 15 minutes later, he sends me this next picture, and he said that one's just a smidge over 5, same thing, next to a brush pile on an 8XD. So, by the way, not to be outdone, I sent him a picture back of this fish. Okay, but still, so now we have something to work off of on Sunday, hopefully, with some deeper fish. So one more pretty funny thing. So I'm jerking a deep brush pile. You can see I'm kind of by the bridge there. And I can see a bunch of fish right in the top of it. But I'm using a rod that I know has a bad eye because I've had issues. You can hear it scraping, but I'm thinking I'm just going to use it and I'll put it up when it comes tournament day. And I see one dart out of that brush pile and just absolutely smoke it. I have no idea how big the fish is, but watch this right here. This is so awesome. Here he comes, and now I don't know how big you guys think that fish is, but what I can tell you is he jumps twice more getting closer to the boat, and if he's 12 inches long, I'm 7 feet tall. So there's a 10 or 11 incher out there with some scraped up line and a Provoke 106 DD $14 jerkbait dangling out of his lip. I stood there for a minute thinking he might float up, but he got it. He wins, dadgummit. So I rotated shallow deep all day. And by the way, this was another one. I threw in there one, smoked that chatterbait, didn't get it. Threw back in there, he smoked it again, he didn't get it. Threw in there the 3rd time and finally got a hold of him. And I think I know now why I wasn't getting him the first couple of times. Yeah, it caught me a cute cat. And I mean, it was one of those days where you could get bit a whole bunch of different ways. Once again, here I'm out deep. I'm over a brush pile, and I'm pitching a tail spinner at it. You're going to see it. I'm going to swim it up over the top of the brush pile and just get train wrecked right here. So what I do is I let it fall to the bottom. I'm looking at my bait. I reel it up, and bam, he just nails it. Matter of fact, I think that one got it off the bottom. But I did this a bunch. And then I had 2 drag spots that were, actually one of them I finished the day at. that were just basically bites every cast. One of the drag, actually both the drag spots, I felt like I probably wasn't going to be able to fish Saturday, but we're practicing for a 2-day tournament. We're going to have very different conditions over the 2 days. So we had really 2 or 3 little areas we felt like we could go back in and catch some chatterbait fish, with the knowledge that if the weather cools off like it's predicted to, well, let's just say I've done this for a lot of years on Rayburn, and I know when that water cools off that first time, a lot of green fish are going to move up, and you guys are going to see tomorrow. It's one of the biggest by far not the biggest weight I've ever had by half, but it's one of the biggest number days I've ever had on Rayburn, and the Sunday is almost as good numbers wise, but even better quality wise. So, and we made a really good adjustment Saturday morning based upon the conditions, because we went to some really shallow fish that Terry had found, but the water had muddied up. And I'll explain kind of our thinking when we come back to you guys tomorrow as to why we made a transition versus spinning out in the first 30 minutes. We made a really quick transition, and the fish were there, and they showed themselves pretty quick to us, and we thumped on them pretty good both days. But again, I mean, I think you're going to see tomorrow we had in excess of 50 fish, and I think probably closer to 70 fish, and it was just an incredibly fun day of fishing. Had us in the top 10, and then we're able to actually move up on Sunday for a really nice finish and a little bit of a payday. So that's our practice. Again, we're practicing with the knowledge that things are about to change a whole bunch, and boy do they. Winter arrived, and winter was not happy. So stay tuned. Be back with you guys tomorrow with the first day of the tournament. I think y'all are going to enjoy it. Fun time at Rayburn, and it's going to continue to be good for quite a while, actually. Normally through December, January, February, the fishing is great. So stick around. We'll be back soon, guys.